to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money.
Good morning, good afternoon. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Today, we're talking about something that really hit home. A content creator went viral after saying, never let being broke isolate you from the community or your community. That message resonated because so many people feel embarrassed or disconnected when their money is low. Instead of leaning on each other, we often pull away, compete, or pretend everything is fine. But isolation only makes struggle harder. So today we're asking, how do we build community that supports, uplifts, and holds space for people at every financial level? And how do we stop letting money determine our value, our confidence, or our connection to one another? I am Dr. Lene Javette, monetization strategist and mindset coach, and I'm joined by Dr. Alicia Watkins, therapist and relationship expert, Aisha Verzi, financial and insurance expert. Hello, queens. Welcome to the roundtable on today. So, question, when you hear the quote, never let being broke isolate you from the community, what's your first reaction to that quote, Dr. Alicia? Do you think that people isolate, or when you hear that, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, if you're broke or if you're not broke, isolating yourself from the community is never a good answer. And what's beautiful about the sense of community is that you're not by yourself. It is, you can lean on each other for encouragement, for advice, for people to see you, to validate each other. And, we think money is a big issue, but really the big pandemic is loneliness. And so if you let shame keep you from making connections with people who otherwise would love you and lift you up and support you, that really becomes a problem.
Okay, I like that. What about you, Aisha?
Yeah, same. Community is important. And I think sometimes it just depends maybe on how the people that you're hanging around with. Because if they make you feel certain way because of your situation, then you might be shy to hang around them. Because some friends like to be out and loud. So it's kind of uncomfortable. But if your community accepts you, tell them, I'm struggling. You know what, man, things are tough these days. Wow, just talk about it. It's not a big deal. And they will, I think, like Dr. Elisa said, they will love you. If they care about you, it wouldn't be a reason why you shouldn't be in your community.
Okay. We're going to go to our first video where this conversation was brought up, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it a little bit more. Okay, first video.
I think now is a really, really good time to remind everybody that being broke is not a personal failing. It is a systemic one. And it is not a reason to eliminate yourself from connection and from access to your community. For many, many years, I appeared to be a really terrible friend because I was super flaky because I was broke. And I was too ashamed and in too much financial depression to admit to my people that the reason why I couldn't go get coffee is because I had negative $25 in my bank account at any given day, and that was a good day. And I want to remind people that now is a really, really great time to offer accessible and free opportunities to see your friends. I am not the person that you need to go have dinner with. If I suggest dinner, Babe, tell me, let's go on a walk instead. And you don't have to say anything else. You don't have to say anything else. But we need to be incredibly aware of the fact that people ain't got it. And that's not a reason to not have community. Now is not the time to be ashamed of being broke. Now is not the time to shame the people we love for being broke. At the end of the day, we still need each other. And I will be damned if somebody that I love feels like they can't tell me that they ain't got it right now. Babe, none of us got it right now. And whether we're pretending we do or we don't, none of us got it right now.
Listen, we could have named this, I would rather see you broke than not see you at all. Like, that is a bar that I don't think we think about. When we are the person, like we're the person that's going through it. We're not thinking about how other people are missing us or how we're isolating ourselves or how they need us. That was a bar right there. So, Aisha, have you ever isolated yourself because of money?
I'm grateful that I wasn't born in money or I don't come from money. My dad was in the military, and I have family members that were wealthy, but I just wasn't raised in a place where I had to feel that way. And I'm grateful that my parents were, okay with where they were, because we're hard workers. They work hard. And to me, I was just proud and happy to be a part of the family. And we had a lot of people around us. So it was easy, I guess, that I didn't have to deal with that. And when my cousins have the chance to come visit us, we were happy to see them. We were grateful. They can see our environment. We don't have fancy. We have regular stuff, not fancy anything, but they sat with us and felt at home. So that made me feel happy. I didn't have to worry or compare myself to anybody, but I always admired them. And I said, wow, and just be grateful that I have those people in my life. So to me, that has been my experience, but I don't isolate myself because I don't have, because I was never raised to have where I think I'm missing anything. So that's been my experience.
What about you, Dr. Alicia? Have you ever isolated yourself because of money?
No, but I do remember like growing up, I did go to private school. And the reason why I went to private school was because my mother taught at that school. And then my dad paid the rest of the tuition. And so we had a big discount. And I don't think people realized that was the reason why I didn't end up in public school in Gary, Indiana. And so, you just walking around with a uniform on, it kind of signals, oh, look at this. I have this Catholic school uniform on. That means that my parents have disposable income. But really, I remember going to the grocery store, and y'all don't know this, but back in my day, they used to have a generic food aisle. I don't know if y'all remember this. There would be one aisle. Well, it would be like the entire grocery store, and there would be one aisle that was just so generic food with black and white, a box, and it had no marketing labels on it. It was just black and white food. And I remember standing at the top, going to the grocery store, my mom standing at the top of the line, and she would go down. She had no shame. She was going down the generic line. I remember I am not going to be seen going down there. There's moments like that where I was like, what's going on that she's going in this generic, who we buy? And it was embarrassing because you have school lunches. And I didn't want to pull out my school lunch with my black and white generic food in it. It wasn't our entire food, but she did go down that aisle. So it's stuff like that where even as a little child, I got messages about having money and it being part of your worth. And, and it just tells you how even small children can be affected by marketing and people putting so much emphasis on things that mean absolutely nothing. And so, yeah, I mean, that's an example of you have to show, and you have to as a way of making you feel as if you're better than someone else when you're not. So, yeah.
So in the chat, let me know, have you guys had that? Have you ever, not have you had to, but have you ever isolated yourself because of money? And so yes, absolutely. I think people do it every day and all the time. And you might not even know that you're doing it, right? Isolating yourself because of a lack of money, it could be as simple as not going out with your girlfriends instead of saying, hey, let's go someplace else. It could be knowing that you're supposed to be someplace, being at an event, a baby shower, a brunch, but because you're not necessarily feeling like you have the same weight or the same financial status as somebody else, so you don't go. It could be somebody calling you and you might be doing your bills at that moment, and you might be feeling like you're in a lack, and so you don't answer the phone. Isolation isn't just sitting in a room in the dark. It is you're not engaging with the people who love you and the people who care about you. In my business, if something isn't moving right, if I didn't hit a goal, if something didn't happen, I want to talk. I want to talk. I'm most likely I'm going to veg out on something on Netflix. Like that's my isolation. If I'm going through something financially or something like that, that's how I'm going to veg out. And it's not necessarily not engaging. It's I'm going to put my mind on something else. I don't want to think about this thing right now. Right. And so, Aisha, do you think that our community, Black and Brown community, still judges people for being broke? Do you like one of the reasons why I think we don't talk about financial well-being or our status is because we're going to feel like we're being judged as if we should be further, as if we should have more. Do you think that that plays a part, the judgment?
I think it certainly does. And I've experienced that where here, especially because for me, every time I speak, I'm speaking both for my upbringing and then also my experience in the United States, being an American citizen now. And it does, you see that people, to me, like Dr. Alicia said, when you're judging yourself against other people, my question that I ask myself is why? Because I don't know what their journey is, even like on the outside. Perhaps maybe they worked harder than me to get what they got. Maybe they worked harder. So maybe it's because I understand myself, knowing, well, I didn't work as hard as them, so I'm not going to be judging myself. They worked hard, they got it. So I don't do that in my mind. I don't do it. Instead, I just say, you know what? I'm going to work hard next time. If I want to get that, I have to do extra work to get that. That's my thought process. But it happens. People judge you. They think, oh, you didn't, maybe you just didn't do enough. So why are you here? I can see that. I notice that sometimes, but it's sad to me because it's so unnecessary, because you're still who you are, whether or not you have this or not, you're still innately who you are. And to me, that is where I like to stay. It doesn't mean I don't see or doesn't affect me, but I don't allow it to get me down to that space where I'm able to do other things. Instead, I do other things and I try to be better for the next time, but not judging myself or judging other people.
I love it. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back and keep this conversation going.
Woo! This is a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
People who isolate when they're going through are actually people who just know how to carry their own burdens. These are the type of people when they're going through something, they would rather like keep it to themselves and then stay to themselves because they understand like I'm not in the best mood. I really don't want to talk. Yeah, you'll invite me somewhere, but I'm not going to be the best company. So I'm going to stay in my own company and I'm going to deal with it by myself. versus the people who call other people and can't help but to call other people every time they're going through something are people who cannot carry their own emotional burdens. And I feel like it's emotionally mature for somebody to say, this is a lot for me to carry. I'm not going to put that on the next person. And they have their own life going on. I'm just not about to blow them up about my problems. Because honestly, that shit is annoying.
Ooh, that's a good take. I don't necessarily agree with it, Dr. Alicia, but I think that it's important to talk about emotional regulation. When you yourself are the person who's dealing with something emotionally, physically, financially, and you're heavy and you're weighted, is it better to isolate and keep it to yourself or throw it on somebody else? Because now you're taking your burdens, your life weight, your financial issues, if that's what it is, and dropping them at somebody else's door, not knowing what they're dealing with, what they're going through, what their life situation is, or what their finances are. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's so important to just support each other. I mean, you could, you know, so many times people feel as if it's your responsibility to fix things for someone else, when really just having a listening ear, someone that could just say, God, that must be really terrible. Oh my goodness. Or you can see yourself in some of their story and both of you guys can vent to each other, like having a place to vent, a person that will validate you, not fix all your problems. Because if we deconstruct your problems, sometimes part of it is you, but not all of it is you. There's structural issues like the first video that keep people from getting ahead, but it's just nice to have a person to lean on so that you can sort through what you're really feeling. I mean, why carry that burden along or around by yourself in isolation? I don't think that that's something that's very healthy to your mental health. And it's always nice to have a place where you don't feel like you're responsible for someone else or making another person responsible for bailing you out. You're not asking for money. You're just in a position where you just want to be able to talk about some of the struggles that you're having. And if you need help, you can ask for help. I mean, I've heard of things like Christmas is coming up, and they have what's called these susus or whatever. And, you know, I've seen, I mean, they're really good. They just, you pay into the system and it's a community driven sort of piece where everyone gets enough money for Christmas shopping. I don't know the details of it necessarily, but I think it's a really wonderful way for community and people to bond together more so than it is about having money for the holidays. It's just the collective piece to that I enjoy.
So you have to kind of hit on like collective economics. And so I'm gonna say what our executive producer is saying in the backside, because she's not here with us today. She said it doesn't have to feel like a burden. It could feel like being a friend or a family member, like loving someone. And I think it's a nice, it's the in-between, right? I've seen where, and I do this with my girlfriends, like my close girlfriends. If I'm going through something and it gets too heavy, I'm gonna call somebody and talk about it. But when I call, I'm gonna say, hey, what you got going on? You good? I got something going on. Do you have time? Right. So I'm going to ask you, can you take on what I'm about? Can you pick up what I'm about to put down? You know what I'm saying? Like, let me tell you what I'm dealing with and going through. And sometimes what you'll find is you're not alone. Girl, I got the same thing going on too. Now we can help each other through it. We can talk about it. And it could be financial. It can be relational. It could be about business. In the time that we're living in right now, this presidency, this DEI rollback, the government shutdown, grants, all the different things that are happening that are making money tight, everybody is dealing with something in some kind of a way. And you will find that you're not by yourself, but everybody's doing it in a silo. So they're struggling, they're stressed out by themselves, when really if you talk with somebody, you feel a little bit better. But I think it's the judgment, right, that holds us back. Because on social media, we're supposed to look like we got it going on. When we show up to the family picnic, we're supposed to look like we got it going on. So then when somebody finds out you don't got it going on, it makes us feel some kind of a way, right? So Aisha, what can we do to better support friends and families who might be in survival mode financially?
That's a great question. I think just being aware and showing them support, that, you know what, if you need anything, I'm here. And if you can really support them financially, if possible, then move towards that and really help them out if you can. But I think if people know that you'll be there for them no matter what, I think that makes them have peace of mind, because they know that, okay, even though I'm going through a tough time, even if it's myself, maybe if I'm going through a tough time, that if I pick up the phone and call these friends of mine and let them know what's happening, that they'll be able to help me, either just by just being good listeners and understanding and supportive, and also encouraging that, hey, this too shall pass. It's okay. We went through, like you say, Dr. Lene, oh wow, somebody, you shared something with them, they say, oh, I'm going through the same thing as well. It gives you that peace that you don't feel like you're alone, that, oh my gosh, I'm the only one, woe is me. No, I'm going through that too. Maybe I'm not worried about it right now, but whatever you're feeling, or I felt that before as well, that really helps everybody. It helps the person that's calling and the person that's also being there as a support system. So it builds this community that is so strong. And then before we know it, we feel that we have a community and we have someone that we can lean on to. I think sometimes, for me, I think sometimes it's ego that really hurts us, our ego, because we feel, I can't tell her that, right? So because we don't want them to know, so our ego, and that ego, to say your ego it's not your amigo. You'll suffer because you're not open to people that can help you and be supportive of you, just being there for you. So yeah, I think if I was, that is what I feel, if just talking about it, and you gives you that community feeling, because your friends will be there for you.
So you brought up a good point. Your friends will be there for you. Right now, in the world of social media, everybody is our friend, right? On Facebook, you got 8,000 friends, 15,000 friends. People ask me all the time, they'll go through like my Facebook friends, and they'll say, hey, such and such is a friend of yours. They friend requested me. Are you cool with them? I'll be like, I don't know who that is. I got like 15,000 friends I don't know them people. I know about 75 of them, 14,000 people, right? So a lot of times I think that when it comes to our well-being, right? Right now, today, we're talking about finances specifically, and there's an image of a massage you have to portray online on social media. So even when you are broke, you really can't tell nobody or show it, right? And so there's this false sense of reality and or value that has to be portrayed, which could be what keeps people from talking about their financial state, right? Dr. Alicia, why do you think, or know, as a therapist, right, why people equate their worth with their wallet?
Well, I mean, we believe in these scripts about how we need to be. And this is the reason why credit card debt shoots up, because you want to try to maintain this image, and your money, all of us should be cutting back, as well as investing, all sorts of things we should be doing right now. But I mean, we start charging stuff on our credit cards to kind of keep up with what we're accustomed to, and we want to keep up with this sort of image, and that's the reason, is because people want to put their value based on how much money they make. I just finished doing, when I was on the airplane coming home, I remember I was just listening to this training on men and manhood, and how men, the recommendation from the training was that men should reevaluate what manhood means, that all of this emphasis is put on performance, how well you're able to perform, how much money you have in your checking account, how tall you are. They said there's a certain height that's out there that men need to be at, and for every inch that a man is shorter, he has to make $40,000 or more to compensate for his height. I mean, these are the things that we're putting on manhood, that you have to be stoic and unemotional, and you have to be competitive, and it's always greed, and I need to have more than the next person, and how it is very detrimental to the mental health of men. And particularly how women are affected by this sort of patriarchal way of looking at the worth of an individual. The worth of an individual is based on who you are and how well we look at you. It's not based on who you are as a person, but how many zeros are in your checking account. I mean, could you just imagine that? Like, we need to re-examine all of this. When things like this happen, I never want to see those who are less than to really feel it. I don't want to see that. But I think what happens is that it's going to put an awakening of all of us to reevaluate what it means to have friends, what is important to us, the connections that we have with each other. There's no money that can substitute that. And what we're finding with a lot of research about men is that men require relationships and connection just as much as women. And they just don't feel compelled, based on some research, they don't feel compelled to honestly talk about that, or to find a person that you're able to open up about. I'm going to be there for you regardless of how much money is in your checking account, that I'm in love with you, or I value you as a person and who you are and your development. So we can get into that, and I think maybe times like this is where we need to just reevaluate not only manhood, but we need to reevaluate, who's a great person. It's how you treat yourself. It's how you love yourself and other people. So that's sort of where I would hope that we're headed in these dark times that's looming over us. I'd like for us to get more to that point.
All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, but I think that in the society that we're living in right now, one of the reasons why people equate their worth with their wallet is because you have folks who talk about high value women, high value men. We look at the quality of life, and a lot of these things are tied to the money that you make. So if you're looking at somebody and you can't go to Nobu or Ruth's Chris or Houston's or whatever the 5-star Morton's, whatever the 5-star restaurant is where you live, if you can't live that level of life where you can't go or you can't pay for whatever reason, it makes people feel not as, I'm not going to say valuable, but not as progressive in life. Right. And so we tie our worth to being able to move and do like the Joneses back in the day. That's what we said, keeping up with the Joneses. And then you felt like you weren't keeping up with the Joneses. But now it's quantified and put on a much massive platform with social media. And so every day we're looking at somebody else's life and comparing it to our own. And a lot of the quality of life is based on the money that you have. And so I think that that is one of the reasons why we see that happening. So let's take this commercial break. We're going to come back. We might have another video, and then I'll see you guys in a hot second.
I know you're busy. You got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money, and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us, so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
If you can't give me $1 million, there's literally no point in me talking about any of my problems, because you can't help me with any of my problems. That sounds so horrible, but like, I don't want to sit around and like just be talking about like what's wrong and talking about my issues and talking about my financial things. Like, there's nothing to talk about. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, if there's not $1 million on the table, then nobody can help me. I gotta figure it out. I gotta work. I gotta go hard. Like, it's that simple. I'll talk to y'all when I figured everything out. And I know that might be a character flaw of mine. I know you should be able to like lean on your community and like talk to the people around you about whatever you're going through, no matter what. You don't have to go through anything alone, but at the end of the day, you are going through it alone. Like, my financial issues or whatever I'm going through has really nothing to do with anybody else. They can give me like their opinions, they can give me like words of encouragement, but at the end of the day, like, that's all it is, just words.
Trying to take it all in. First of all, homeboy, I doubt I don't want to speak negative over this young person, but I doubt you're going to come across somebody with $1 million that want to be your friend just on the strength. I think that wealth is built in silos and in circles, right? But they say if you hang around with 4 broke friends, you're going to be the 5th one, right? I think that you need to get yourself around some people who also want to have $1 million so that, you know what I'm saying, that you guys can grow as a community. That said, Aisha, how do we build friendships and or business relationships that aren't based on status or income?
Yes, how that is so hard to do in today's world with social media. But we can try. So this is what I'm doing. My kids, as they're growing, and when you have your friends at that young age, they know you as a regular person. You're not wealthy. You're just you. So I've continued to encourage them to make sure that those friends, they keep them close to their heart for as long as possible, because those are the friends that whether you have 10 million or 50,000, they will love you because they knew you when you were just growing up. So it's hard sometimes today because if those of us that are already grown up and trying to start over, it's difficult. But we can start planting that seed in our kids' lives to understand how to have those friendships that your status or what you've become is not how you've been judged. Instead, you're judged by who you are and how you're known, your spirit, your soul. That is what they care about, not the things that you've acquired over time. And the funniest thing too is being in the financial industry and being around people that are like very wealthy. They are just like you and me, right? And sometimes the money separates us, but they're actually very lonely as well because they don't actually have that deep love that they need for friends, that they want to really have that friend that love them for just who they are, not because of their money, because now they suffer too knowing who is really my friend and who is just here because of my money. Isn't that crazy? So the goal is to, as we're growing, those people that we knew when we're young, this is what I'm trying to do for my kids. That your friends that you know now from your elementary school to middle school to high school, if it continues, those are the friends that you want to keep. Please stay close to them. Continue your friendship no matter where you go, because at the end of the day, when that time comes, when you have all this money and you don't know who to be friends with, those friends will always love you because they know you from when you were just a regular person, right? So that's what I'm trying to do, that because it's difficult and everyone wants to be loved and cherished for just who they are, not because of the money they have or money that they don't have. So how do we keep doing that? Is maybe helping those that are coming up. And for us, if we have a couple of friends that we have that, man, we're blessed, because then we know that somebody out there loves us, whether we have it or we don't have it, right? Because it's not easy.
The friendships and a circle of people that you can trust and communicate with and talk to, that's your safe space. And it's not to say that you have it with all of your friends. It's not to say that you can go to everyone with it, but you should have at least one person in your life, whether that's your significant other or a best friend, that you feel comfortable and safe talking to. In the chat, let me know. Do you guys have somebody that you guys feel safe to talk about money with? Somebody that you feel comfortable saying, yo, I'm broke, or I'm having a bad time, or I'm going through a bad time. And or are you that for somebody else where you feel like you can have that conversation with somebody to give them a big up or empower them? Because that's the important part, right? You don't want to, I feel like we're living in a time where everybody is competing. Like even within your own friend group, you're competing, right? I have 2 girlfriends that are on this entrepreneur journey with me. We're all in different places. We all have different businesses. And we call it the CEO Syndicate. So we meet every month We do our accountability meeting. We have, and it's ran almost like a meeting. We have a agenda. It tells you how much time you have. And we go through these things and we keep each other accountable all month long. Hey, did you do what you're supposed to do? Did you say this? We talk about our money. We talk about when we're not making money. We talk about our sales, and it's a safe space. I don't have these conversations, I don't think, with anybody else. Maybe our executive producer. I feel comfortable with Tiara. Me and Tiara talk about money. But you have to have these safe spaces that are not competitive, because sometimes you're up and sometimes you're down. Sometimes you're winning and sometimes you're not, right? Dr. Alicia, what do you think are some signs that a community or a friend circle is rooted in love and not competition?
I mean, I think it's just important to just be in tune with feelings that come up for you when you're talking to your actual friends. Like, if there's feelings of jealousy or feelings of even envy, recognize that and be honest with yourself about where that's coming from. And if you sense that from someone else, like, really connect with that and sort through that, because feelings are normal and everybody has them, and what it does is that feelings signal to you that maybe what you're doing, maybe you're a little too comfortable and it's time for you to move outside of your comfort zone. Just pay attention to how you feel when you're around someone and certain topics come up, what it does to you on the inside, and just get a moment to reflect on that, because it doesn't mean you have to like not be friends with anybody anymore or just cut people off, but just being aware of like how you're feeling. Gosh, you hear somebody talk about accolades and success in an area where you wish you could be successful in that area. And like, maybe that's a motivator for you. It's all a lesson there about how to come, how to relate to some of those things. And I just was thinking as we were having this conversation, even today, like even in the 90s, I want to say, it was all this prosperity gospel that was going on. And it just was so surprising to me that it was something that Black people really latched on to, and like really felt like, I'm going to be doing well financially because God ordained me to do this way. And I thought it just like, growing up Catholic, it's almost like everybody I looked up to took a vow of poverty. So it wasn't that we had to even put our money and thoughts into this prosperity piece. It was sort of strange to me. It was a strange sort of connection. I never really saw that. I grew up with the idea that you're valued not based on how much you have, but there's value in how much you give to other people. And that's, you put your value there. And so I just never really connected to some of those things. I think that's interesting. I did have another comment I want to make. That video when the guy was like, if you don't have $1 million, I can't talk to you. Like, I get it. Like, this is someone who's really frustrated. And it's great that he talked to us. He picked up his phone or whatever and posted that video. And it was funny because we're just like, woo child, yes, $1 million could solve a lot of my problems. But, it is a character flaw. Like, if he was serious with it, maybe he was a little not so serious, because he was like, this is a character flaw. It is a character flaw if you feel like you need to do everything alone. It comes from this idea that when you were growing up, maybe in your current life, you get the message that if you are in an issue or you have problems, that you need to retract yourself from other people and isolate and fix your own problems on your own. That means that you grew up with messages that you can't turn to somebody when you're in need, or there was no one there for you when you really needed them to be there for you. So it is a character flaw. It is a character issue if you just want to do stuff on your own all the time. And I talk to people, who I know, and I'm just like, ask for help. It's part of my challenge that I do with some of the groups that I work in, is an assignment. I need you to ask somebody for help. and we process what that feels like. What does it feel like to ask somebody for help, to recognize that you need help, and then ask somebody? It's almost a relief if they say, no, I can't do it. But if you ask somebody for help and they say, yes, I can do it, it's more of a burden on you, because now you have to sit there and wait if they're actually going to follow through with what they said they were going to do. Anyway, I just went on and on, but I just think it was really interesting.
So wait, are we going commercial? Okay, so the friendship conversation, not necessarily so much the friendship conversation, but the asking for help conversation, because it's not that people aren't broke or that they're not struggling. It's the conversation about, right, the isolation. Why do we feel like we have to go through it by ourselves? And what is that really? Because when I think about, I'm not big at asking for help. I'm not big at exposing my flaws, unless you're somebody who's close to me, right? I have to feel safe with you in order to open up and say, I'm dealing with this, I'm going through this, or even asking for help. Aisha, you kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. I think you said ego, right? How do you think shame is it ego or is it shame, right? So for somebody it might be their ego, like I don't want you to know, but for somebody else it might be like they're just shame, like I should have it. I should have had this figured out. I should have saved. I shouldn't be in this situation. How does that affect our ability to ask for help or keep us disconnected at times? Because I think that that's really what somebody is dealing with and going through, opposed to like just not asking for help.
Yeah, wow. So it's true. Shame versus ego. Well, which one is which one? And I think both of them play a role, but in different way. I think shame is more, for me, if I think about shame, is maybe, oh wow, we can't afford that, and everybody can see clearly that we live in a poor neighborhood, we don't have what we need, and my clothes are old, and they've seen me wear the same shirt 5 times, and that's all I have. Then that's that shame, right? So that's a little different, because actually I want to cry. You can't control that, how your parents, what they had. But ego is people that they feel they've got it, and they're walking around, they don't have it. And you can tell that they don't have it, but they're carrying this facade that they got it going on. They're mean to people. You can just tell they don't have it. That's the ego. That's the one that that I'm referring to. And I've seen it too. I've been a professional, that you can just tell that somebody, they're just putting a facade on that they have it going on, and they don't, right? And you don't want to judge them, but then the way they carry themselves, you're like, just take a deep breather, ask for help. People are going to help you. You just have to ask, but they don't want to ask for help. Well, the one for shame sometimes is one that we cannot control. Maybe something happened to us. See, I'm crying again. And then people judge us because of that. That's the one that is to me is more even sad, because you see some young people, like talking about Catholic school. All my kids went to Catholic school all the way to high school. So you can see some people that you can tell that they don't have money, but again, there's a sponsorship to help them. But because of the way they are raised in that environment, they are raised to have dignity. You have dignity and self-respect. So that because you don't have doesn't mean that you are not good enough, or that you are less than. That's the one that, to me, I'm so grateful that we have that exposure where it's not about the money, it's about who you are, your character, and that your parents are trying, right? That's when that shame should go away. But ego is, you think you're all that in a bag of chips, but you're not, and people can tell. That's the difference. So I'm sorry, I did not going to get emotional, but sometimes when you're in that environment, you see the difference, and you feel bad for people sometimes, because we don't need to feel that way, that because we don't have something, then we're not worthy of people's love and understanding. Well, we have to go isolate ourselves because of that.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing. Research shows that isolation and financial stress are deeply linked to mental health challenges such as anxiety and depression. Small businesses that collaborate with others in their community see an average of 25 to 35% higher growth than those that operate alone. A study from the University of Michigan found that people who feel socially connected are 30% more likely to bounce back from economic hardship. According to the Brookings Institution, communities with strong social support networks recover from financial setbacks up to twice as fast as those without them. Awesome sauce. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll come right back.
Are you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the Black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but wellness looks very different when you're broke. It's not matcha lattes and Pilates studios and fancy journals. It's silence in the morning. It's meditation. It's EFT tapping. It's prayer. It's waking up with the sunlight. It's going to bed earlier. It's drinking more water. We have got to get back to the basics when it comes down to taking care of ourselves. And it's so easy to feel like I need to be doing this. I need to be doing that. I need to be doing. Maybe we just need to be. Maybe we need to just start being. And if you have breath, you have life. And that's one of the wealthiest things you can have. So let's get it. Cheers to getting back to the basics. That's where the real health is at. And for more wellness content, go to my website. There are a ton of resources there. And hit that follow button. Later, y'all.
I love the young people having these conversations. How can we teach the next generation that success is not a solo mission? I think that we talk about, if you want to go far, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with somebody else, right? We talk about it, which means collaboration, which means doing it, not doing it in silo, doing it as a group, but we don't always show it, right? We always show, I got to get mine. I got to be out here doing it for myself. And we show when we're doing great, but we don't show when we're doing bad. And we don't talk about those bad times. We just show all the good stuff and show, what it looks like in those seasons. Dr. Alicia, how can we teach this next generation that seems so in tune with wanting to do better and get it right and not do it by themselves? How can we teach this next generation that success, it's not a solo mission. You don't have to do it alone.
Yeah, we teach from what we do and our behaviors. We have these teachable moments, and we share with young people. I think young people are just way ahead than all of us old heads. They're really great. They don't have no shame, and the whole conversation about fear. That's what sparks the ego. The ego is just all about being scared. When I see somebody operating from ego, I just see a scared little child, and ego is a way of compensating for an insecurity that you have. So you put that up, and I think the young people are like vocal. Oh my gosh, when I turn on Instagram every morning, I am so excited by comments and the compassion that I see in a lot of young people who are really getting into politics, who are wanting to collaborate with each other. There was a lady who was making all this money on Instagram. All she's doing, my husband sent me her video, all she's doing is just putting makeup on, and she's able to do these wonderful things. And being in the world of entrepreneurs, you never quite know. It's one thing, because I have a W2 job. I am an employee. And so it's easier to kind of know where I am financially, but being around entrepreneurs is hard to know. And the conversations we have is how's your cash flow? How's your cash flow? My cash flow is okay. We have these conversations, and I love to see young people get together. I just came back from the Power Networking Conference. I guess that's probably why I'm talking like this, but it's just going and doing opportunities, and the challenges that Dr. Fraser gave everybody was collaborate, work together. You can't do it by yourself. Like that was the theme throughout the entire conference. So being able to participate in activities like the Power Networking Conference. Hello, that's what that is all about, is getting together with like-minded individuals. And don't be shamed. Don't have no shame. Put that down. Operate out of like the wanting to collaborate and focusing on delivering a good product to the people who you know could benefit from it, and everything kind of comes together. And I think that's the piece that's very encouraging for all of us in these here times. So yeah.
Collaboration, networking, doing it together, all of these things require trust. They require community. They require, I want to see you win. They require selflessness. They require patience. They require not being judgmental. The Bible says, get the log out of your eye first. But unfortunately, we live in a society where we're going to be like, excuse me, let me get the log out of my eye so I can tell you about the log in your eye. Instead of saying, yo, we both got logs in our eyes, and yet we're trying to get someplace. I don't have all the answers. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I got 1 and 3. You got 2 and 4. Let's find somebody that has 5, and together we can make this thing work, right? It's about collaboration, not competition. It's about, I literally called Constance. I'm working on this new container for my business. And I called her and I said, hey, I have something that's going on. It's kind of like what you're doing. So I don't want you to. And she was like, girl, I don't care if you do the exact same thing as what I do. We have different audiences. We're going after different marketplaces. We can still collaborate. So she's coming into my thing to participate, even though it's sort of her thing, because it's collaboration. And so you want to be around people that understand the power of collaborating over competition. And so in our final thought for today, I want you guys to give your thought, and then also where people can find you. How can community connection actually help us to rebuild a culture that is stronger and operates from collaboration instead of competition? Because I think that that's the true way that we have community wealth. When we talk about community economics, we got to focus on the community part, right? If we're talking about personal economic empowerment, that's you. That's just you yourself. But when we're talking about community wealth or community economics, that means I'm going to grab Dr. Alicia, I'm going to grab Aisha, I'm going to grab Constance, I'm going to grab Tiara, and we're saying, how do we make sure that everybody eats? How do we make sure that if somebody is lacking, we can support them and lift them up, right? So that nobody has to feel like they're by themselves. What does that look like for us as a community? Aisha, I'll start with you. What would you tell somebody to do, or how we could do that?
That's such a powerful question for all of us that we answer as we close. And like Dr. Alicia was saying about the event she just attended, is all about collaboration. And I truly believe that that is one thing that we have to work hard on, collaborating with each other and not competing with each other, because they say when you collaborate, you stay on your own lane while supporting the other person on the other lane. And I'm so grateful that I've had the opportunity to be in a business and environment that I've seen it practice, and I know that is possible, because these are people that I don't know them, they don't know me. We really just got together because of business. And to see that this person is invested in my growth, my development, really shows me that we can do it. It's just a matter of, like Dr. Lene said, there has to be trust. And the trust meaning that if you say you will do something, you actually do it, right? And that will help the people that you're bringing in or working together with trust and believe you and rely on you, because you say, I'll do this, and you do it, because that's supporting them to grow as well. But more importantly, one thing I also learned in this space is that don't allow people to judge you that because you don't have this amount now, that you won't be able to have it later. Don't ever allow that. Rather, just keep doing what you know is right. Stay disciplined, stay focused, with the help of those people around you, just rise, because it will happen. Just a matter of time. That consistency, trust, and believe in each other, that will happen. And where can you find me? I am blessed to be a coach in the Black Business School. And also you can reach me if you want to talk about your finances with insurance at www.aishaverzi.com. I'm there to help. And I really want us to build a community that grows together, because we can do it.
Shameless rise plug. She talked about rising, making sure you rise. So shameless little Thursday plug for our rise conversation. Dr. Alicia, same question to you. What does community wealth mean to us, and or how can we rebuild a culture where community is stronger than competition?
Yeah, I mean, I just love this whole conversation about collaborating. And sometimes it can be scary to collaborate with other people. It can feel like you're just exposing yourself, but do it anyway. It's always a possibility that it won't work out. There's things you can do to minimize the possibility, but that's always there. But do it anyway, because collaborating with other people, it's not weakness, it's a wisdom. That's where you learn about things. And we just went through the stats. I wrote it down. 30%, you're 30% more likely to recover from a financial hardship when you collaborate, when you connect with other people. That helps you to become resilient. Mm-hmm. And I mean, just think about that. Let's see what else. I just think that, sometimes you do feel like people judge you. You feel like you're being judged, and that can take you away from it can take you away from all of the possibilities that could happen if you just don't care anymore and just do it anyway. I think that's so important. I do want to I think that we all should operate from a place of abundance, that there's plenty for everybody. We should collaborate. I collaborate with therapists all the time. They're not my competition, because the people who are supposed to work with me, and the people who gel with other people gel with them. I think it's all beautiful. There's an abundance of the people who need to work with me, who will work with me. So collaboration doesn't really mean that I'm going to lose anything, because there's an abundance. So I want everybody to follow me on Instagram, Coaching with Dr. Alicia on Instagram. And if you are interested in working with me, if you my people, okay, contact me at Coaching with Dr. Alicia, and I will get back to you and we can work together.
I love it. I love it. I love it. First of all, I just love Fly Nubian Money. Like, I just love, we literally every day personify collaboration, right? Some of us knew each other before this, and then some of us did not. I never met Constance Carter until working with Dr. Boyce. Mm-hmm. She came out for, I think it was Women of Wealth Weekend, which was many years ago. The very first event that Fly Nubian Money ever did in life. That's how long ago it was. And then just over the years, we had developed a business relationship that turned into a friendship. Mm-hmm. And I have been blessed to be around different business women who have shown me what it looks like to be a leader, to be a collaborator, a servant leader. That's my new terminology. I'm a servant leader. When I had a photo shoot done one time, and two women, the girl who did the photo shoot for me, and then a friend of ours jumped in. She has to be at least an $800,000 a year business owner. And she is putting my clothes together for me. Mm-hmm. And she is making sure that the set is upright. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at her serve as a leader. And I was like, this is what collaboration is about. Mm-hmm. It's about not being worried that I do $800,000 a year and I'm helping. It's about serving. It's about showing up for each other. Mm-hmm. And we do that every day right here on Fly Nubian Money. You get to see us do it. And I think that if we take this ideology out into the world with the people that we know and love, the same way that all of you in the chat show up for us every day. That's collaboration. You guys show up for us and we collaborate in this space. Do it with the other people that you know. Do it with your family, do it with your friends, collaborate with them, talk to them about where they are, what they're doing in their business, in their relationships. Collaboration is just engagement and being open with each other. And we can do that. We have the power to literally do that every day with the people who are closest to us. And so that's my final thought for today. I'm Dr. Lene Javette, monetization strategist, business coach. And at the end of the day, money will come and money will go. But community is what keeps us strong. Being broke never means being alone. When we share what we have, whether it's resources, encouragement, or wisdom, we all rise together. Thank you to our amazing panel, to our amazing queens for this real and healing conversation about community, connection, and what true wealth really looks like. Thank you to those of you that showed up for us today like you do every day. Thank you for being in collaboration with us. We appreciate you. We love you. We'll see you same time, same place on tomorrow. Peace out.
Peace out.
When I'm broke, don't bail me, bro. I don't want to see no one. I don't want to talk to no one. I just want to be alone with my financial hardships, because I feel like that's just a rough time for me, and I feel like I just can't be in the presence of people. Like, family is getting ignored, friends are getting ignored. I'm not gonna want to talk to anyone. I'm not gonna miss anyone. Just, it's like when you're broke, there's nothing to talk about, man. There's nothing we can even do. I'm broke.